Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and welcome to Dev Talks. This is Aadi Saturday special with General Narayan talking about what is the secret of Modi's visit. देखो यार, we know what's happened. खुले में जो बात हुई है हम सबको पता है कौन किसने क्या बोला, किसके साथ क्या डील हुई, जीई का ये हो गया, रीपर आ रहा है, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है. बट जो
थैंक यू सो मच आदि. यस, ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है जो हम नॉर्मल डील वगैरह के अंदर नहीं जाएंगे. इसके आगे पीछे क्या है उसको उसको देखना है. व्हाट आर द इम्प्लीकेशंस ऑफ दिस इन द लार्जर पर्सपेक्टिव.
you're very right because back end पे जो चीजें हो रही है ना वो तो that is the game. Now a lot of people say यार पाकिस्तान के लिए क्या बात हुई है, चाइना के लिए क्या बात हुई है, इंडिया के लिए फ्यूचर के लिए क्या बात हुई है, एंटी इंडिया नैरेटिव के लिए क्या बात हुई है. अब वो एंटी इंडिया नैरेटिव जो है वो उसके बारे में लेट्स टॉक देयर सर. लेट्स स्टार्ट देयर. जो टाइमिंग था, एक बराक ओबामा का एक जो इंटरव्यू आया, दिस वन टाइमिंग दैट वाज देयर, दे वर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. कहाँ से सडनली ओबामा साहब अपीयर्स आउट ऑफ द डस्क एंड in my opinion sir he challenged Biden, did he?
I think so because there have been a lot of chatter which I have been reading on the social media and the net that Michelle Obama had lot of hopes to stand for elections, and that Biden, having been the vice president of Obama, may agree. बट वही कहते हैं ना, कुर्सी एक बार आ जाता है तो कोई किसी का नहीं होता है. एंड दैट हैज प्रूव्ड एंड ही हैज बिकम टू स्मार्ट एंड टू वाइली फॉर Obama. Obama has been a smooth talker. Subsequently, when history will be written, they're going to destroy him piece by piece. And he moved things to be given a peace prize even before he did anything.
मेरे को लगता है सर उसने जो बुक लिखी ना वो it's a prelude to a cover up sort of a thing.
You can try to cover up, and it's a laughable thing that this idiot is talking about, pardon my language, I will call him an idiot, talking about minorities in India, Muslims. How many Muslims did you butcher? You call yourself a Muslim? All Muslim nations in Middle East, close to 8 million you have butchered, and 12 million are displaced people. How many people you have maimed? How many children you have killed? बात क्या कर रहे हो यार? Genocide पे तो तेरा नाम आना चाहिए सबसे पहले. And you are talking of minority rights? How many blacks have you sorted out? Have you stood with the blacks? You are supposed to, you identify yourself with a black in America. Have you done anything for them?
Black Lives Matter क्या हो गया?
कुछ नहीं. तो कुर्सी सबको प्यारी है, और क्योंकि उसकी बात मानी नहीं जा रही थी, and he is reaching out to India, wanting to show, I feel it was wanting to show Biden in a poor light. Now, by the way, they created this and wanted to have this anti-India parade. How many came? 100 भी नहीं थे.
47 people, sir.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this out of this thing. There were 47 people, sir. Not saying it openly or anything like that. I have family relatives who are involved in the Washington establishment. Okay, my dad's first cousin, so that so called.
And look at the amount of people who were there to welcome, all along the road and everywhere. That itself tells you that it is slowly falling apart. आपके इसमें मैंने पहले भी बताया था that it is falling apart is known thing. When the main face of this, I still call him the face because the string pullers are still in the hardcore far left Democratic Party.
Ji.
Right? The string pullers are there. George Soros has always been the face, and he had to come out in the open. After that Hindenburg papers and all that revelation fell flat, he had to come out in the open. Now इतना कुछ हो गया है that Obama has to come out in the open. पीछे से जो कुछ करते थे. Also, I would not put it up. I won't be amiss if I say that the ambassador who has come to India from US was a known India baiter when he was in State Department in US. I think he has been given, like वो Godfather में बोलते हैं ना, given an offer that he can't refuse, and he has been placed to pasture. अब यहाँ पे आके क्या कर रहा है? मोदी 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 गुन गा रहा है.
जय भारत जय हिंद,
जय भारत जय हिंद हो रहा है उसका. मतलब सॉर्ट आउट हो गया अच्छी तरह से. एंड ओबामा एंड हिज वाइफ वुड हैव रेड द राइटिंग ऑन द वॉल कि हमारे बंदे सब साइडलाइन हो गए. एंड सो ही हैड टू कम आउट. And even then, I don't think, other than the CNN hardliners, there would be any takers. ने उसको ये लग रहा होगा कि भाई 123 एग्रीमेंट फर्मिन हुआ था मेरे टाइम में. उस वक्त वो गवर्नमेंट था who was ready to do anything that I said. Now today you're doing an agreement again with the same country, but there is a government which believes in strategic autonomy, जो उनको अखरता है. उनको चाहिए yes sir 3 bags full sir, but they don't realize the geopolitical and actually the geo-economic structure today. The world needs India for economic growth. Now with this agreement, which will expand as we discuss even to the Europeans, look at the amount of jobs that are going to come in. This is the only way for the US and the West to some way stabilize their economy, which I feel Biden has understood. Of course, his DOD and the military industrial complex understand it very well. His trade reps also understand it very well. That is why वो 6 जो इंडिया के अगेंस्ट वो WTO में गए थे, उन्होंने उसको सॉर्ट आउट कर दिया आपस में बायलैटरली. और इंडिया ने भी बोला ठीक है, हमने काउंटर में जो आपके अगेंस्ट एक्स्ट्रा ड्यूटीज लगाए थे वो निकाल दें.
25 आइटम्स.
These are major geopolitical, geostrategic and geo-economic shifts. So I will leave it at that and we will take it step by step further.
हाँ जी. So Obama we've discussed. Obama साहब had his eyes set on going back to the White House.
No, as the FMOTS, not FLOTUS, but FMOTUS, first man of the US.
अब उसको क्या था ना सर, he wanted to repeat a Bill Clinton. I don't know literally or not, but anyways, उसका ड्रीम खत्म हो गया है.
तो थैंक यू.
वो अलग है. मिशेल ओबामा पे तो ऐसा है, the kind of propaganda campaign that is on, I don't even want to mention it here. कोई बच्चे देख लेंगे. It's you know, I'm sure all of you guys can Google search that. उसको क्या बोल रहे हैं आजकल. But sir, let's talk about this whole anti-India brigade. एक तो आपने बोला कि George Soros main man had to come out. You know, George Soros
main face.
हाँ.
Not the main man. He's the main face.
Yeah. So now you have this guy who's come out and said, बड़ा openly इसने बोला कि भाई I would have said this and this and that.
Yeah.
Having said that, Biden ने बड़ा clearly बोला we will not lecture Modi.
बिल्कुल.
दूसरा चीज, मोदी साहब ने लेक्चर कर दिया सर उसको. जयशंकर ने बोला भैया we are concerned about racial attacks that are taking place on Indians.
बिल्कुल. It's taking place.
No, that is the reality, but
yeah.
वो कुछ बोल
नहीं पाया. अभी तक आप बोले जा रहे थे तो हम तो बोलेंगे. अब आप जवाब दो. Because the whole issue is who needs whom more.
Correct.
So the US needs you more. So he has to swallow it and sort it out.
Question is, sir, anti-India brigade को कहाँ छुपाया हुआ है इन लोगों ने? Have they like literally told them तुम side हो जाओ भाई? Which brings me, sir,
he is going to sideline the anti-India fora in the Democratic Party. The same issue that the Republicans were facing with Trump, who became too strong. The Democrats have faced it with the Obama clique, who are very rabid anti-India.
Clinton,
Their
Obama,
कौन सा है endowment for democracy,
National
national
Endowment for
endowment for democracy. Okay, उन्हीं से थ्रू फिर ओपन सोसाइटी ये सब निकल के आता है. Now these are going to get sidelined, and this deal, once it starts fructifying and you find that jobs are coming in, economies somewhat stabilizes, is going to help Biden for his next term.
But sir, who's behind Biden, sir?
Who's behind Biden? That remains to be seen, to see who has come behind him. I think it is Bill Clinton.
I think it's the combination of Bill Square, sir. Bill Clinton and Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, ठीक
I
है.
don't know.
I don't know, but
next George
Bill
Soros
Clinton
लगता है,
तो है. Bill Clinton तो है, because after all he is the one who worked around the sanctions of India when India went nuclear and reached out to India and started off. And then of course
Correct.
George Bush pushed it further, and Obama के time में fructify हो गया था 2005 to 2008, then 123 agreement fructified.
जी.
But it was the push from Bill Clinton, where he is the one who decided that it is not Pakistan but India is important. वहां से चलते 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 now it has become a reality today, and that is why Pakistan को जलन होती है कि their situation is because of India. It's not because of India. Geostrategically, geopolitically, geoeconomically in this region, India is more important than Pakistan. Pakistan has nothing to offer, so they're not going to talk to you.
उस पे आते हैं sir. We'll come to our proud neighbors. I'm sure they're very proud of us today. But sir, one other big thing that we see is that the kind of reception that
And
was
before
given
I forget, the military-industrial complex will be the one behind अपना Biden. They need all this complete, and DOD has scored totally over State Department this time.
आप sir, क्या you reading my mind or something, sir? मैं वही पूछने वाला था. In the battle of State Department versus defense.
No, it's not just State Department. I had noted down. I had seen based on that 58-point press note जो निकाला. There's no need to me to go through that. People can download it. Press brief का पूरा. It's 58 points that they have made, and उसमें बड़ा clear है that DOD plus White House plus the military industrial complex, Department of Science and Technology उनका, Department of Trade versus State Department. Obviously State Department had to lose यार, पैसा बोलता है. अभी मेरे को देखना है कि CIA किधर है.
Sir, CIA goes wherever the river flows, sir.
तो अभी CIA किधर जाएगा, किन का पत्ता CIA से कटेगा, and क्या होगा. There'll be a lot of people in State Department, CIA and all who will be given offers they can't refuse.
Because when you mention CIA, they've created a new department called Defense, Combined Intelligence or something like that. Who basically the intelligence head was the CIA head till now. Now they've put in one lady, उसके ऊपर बिठा दिया है उसको. And she went around and told in the Senate, and by the way, she's written a letter to the Senate saying कि CIA is spying on our own citizens.
Of course.
तो ये तो CIA का पत्ता काट रहे हैं.
See, बात ये है कि एक जमाना होता था 50s 60s में when Edgar Hoover of the FBI was untouchable and it became too strong.
जी.
And a lot of people were gunning for Hoover. And there is a lot of chatter, if you go through on the net, there's a lot of chatter that Hoover was involved in the killings of both the Kennedy brothers. Okay. Today they feel that CIA is getting out of hand because of all the black money which they manage through the drugs by controlling the Colombian cartel. So they want to cut CIA to size. So वहाँ पे अब you suddenly find that there is a big play which is going on out there, because it is not lost on the White House that the only country who can help and do something today for the global economy is India. And unless, see, the problem, like I always give, the Kindleberger trap. The world is facing a Kindleberger trap. Kindleberger was an economist who, along with others, had formulated the Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of Germany. And they had also worked on rebuilding of Japan. Okay. He had analyzed the recession, 1920s, 30s ka recession he had analyzed, and he said it was a trap because the only country which could step in and help the people was kept out of it by the West. Europe was a declining power after the First World War. They did not have money. US had the money, but they were loath to bring US in, that the US will dominate them. It ultimately happened after the Second World War. They had no choice. But it was in that period when the US could have helped the world come out of recession. It was, US was not part of the financial institutions existing, for whatever it was worth. And hence he stated that that is why the recession took place, even in the US, because you had the capacity, but there was no market available anywhere in the world. And so your own economy started collapsing. This was, in brief, I'm saying this was his logic. There was much more here written. But in that, the economists today call it the Kindleberger trap. World today is facing the Kindleberger trap. Okay, like you see, Germany is already in recession. UK mane na mane is already in recession. China mane na mane, they are already in recession. And most of the European economies are facing stagflation. US is also facing a problem. The only country which can help them out is India, whose economy is growing. Now, if this agreement had not been signed, world was facing a recession. That's why I say this is a landmark agreement which has taken place and would have been pushed by the economists in the US and the economists here in India. कि अगर ये agreement नहीं होता है, there is a lot of technology which is there in the West which is US driven. And unless the US clears it, they cannot start setting up base in India. And this becomes a landmark agreement where all the talk of de-risking, friend-shoring, near-shoring comes here.
So when you're saying base in India, sir, ये बड़ा interesting. आप ना बीच-बीच में बोल जाते हो सर, but deep meaning होती है इन चीजों की, तो थोड़ा मैं dig करूंगा अभी. Base in India का क्या मतलब है सर आपका?
इसका ये है कि जैसे अभी आपको बोलता हूँ, आपके सारे एग्रीमेंट्स जो आपको मिलिट्री टेक्नोलॉजी, इंट शेयरिंग, एवरीथिंग जो आपको यूएस के साथ करना था वो कर चुके हैं. आपके चारों एग्रीमेंट्स साइन हो गए, एडजस्टेड टू आवर रिक्वायरमेंट्स. इसका अलग से अगर बात करना है तो वी कैन टॉक सेपरेटली. द एग्रीमेंट्स दैट वी हैव साइंड, वी हैव वर्कड ऑन those wordings of the agreement so that it is agreeable to us also. So it is a partnership, not an alliance agreement, to put it in simple terms. Now, the people may not know. The US Navy has signed first an agreement with L&T. They had signed for repair of their ships. One ship has been fully repaired. It is set to sea. They're very happy with the repair work that has been given. Now they are signing agreement with Garden Reach, Mazagon Docks, Kochi, and one or two more docks in India. The second ship has already come to L&T for their complete overhaul and repair. So now in the Indo-Pacific, you have become the hub for the naval. Similarly, G का एग्रीमेंट हो गया है, उसमें बाकी सब छोड़ो, आगे का छोड़ो. MRO is always a low hanging fruit. जो इमीडिएट आपको गेन्स मिलेगा, इमीडिएट जॉब्स मिलेंगे, पैसे मिलेंगे, काफी कुछ मिलेगा, एंड एमआरओ के थ्रू आपका टेक्नोलॉजी एब्जॉर्प्शन बिकम्स फास्टर. मोर एंड मोर पीपल स्टार्ट अंडरस्टैंड. जी का एग्रीमेंट आपका साइन हो गया, उसमें एमआरओ इज अ मेजर इशू देयर. नाउ जस्ट इमेजिन F-22, F-35 तो नंबर्स कम है, bulk is F-18, F-16, F-15 which use G. So where is the MRO in the Indo-Pacific for your Air Force? India. Apple has shifted, Foxconn has shifted. Now you have done the deal with Micron. Chip making, also the nano chip making.
You're talking about 2.5 millimeters, sir. I mean,
so you're going into nano chip making. Now, lithograph कौन बनाता है? Netherlands. Control कहाँ पे? Technology control, US. You sign the agreement, those lithographs come to you. What was stopping you from making your own handset for your Navik chips? आ गए आपके. So now, not only is Navik, your group of satellites, talking to GLONASS, now you'll go and talk to GPS. Now you have a worldwide footprint here. My grid is worldwide now. I can expand my grid worldwide.
You're basically linking with almost 4,000 satellites.
Yeah. And it's not lost that once this has been done, Elon Musk wants to provide Starlink coverage to India also.
That's another 4,000 satellites.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No? People talk a lot, ना, जैसे हम बोलते हैं जब when Nancy Pelosi had come to मिसाइल फायर किया, वो अलग जगह चला गया, जापान के पास चला गया. क्यों? एक याद होगा when we did the balloon thing, unless you have your own grid properly set, you will your odd missile will make an error. अब इससे रीजनल ग्रिड तो आपका बन गया, आपका तो वर्ल्ड का ग्रिड आप बना सकते हो. You see how 10-15 years down the line what changes will come. You're talking of 6G.
Because 6G. Sir, when this deal was happening and a lot of people saying, oh, Reaper le liya, kya yaar, itna paisa de diya and all that. I read there's this so-called defense writer, Saket Gokhale or whatever his name is. He says, we paid more and all that stuff. एक तो ना ये सारे expert बन जाते हैं हर चीज में. The interesting thing in this whole deal to me is two aspects. So one, our own drones have been, the testing जो चल रही है has been stepped up massively. Every day you're seeing something or the other happening in terms of Indian drones. पहली चीज वो. दूसरी चीज सर, TOT का क्या स्टेटस है इसमें? And how do these 2-3 things connect to this Reaper drone का?
You have to absorb technology, na? Once you absorb technology, once these drones come to you, you absorb the technology, you realize the gap, the technology gap. Why is your Rustam not taking off? What are the problems? What are the metallurgical problems that you are facing? इंजन बनाना यानी पेपर में डिजाइन करना आसान हो जाता है. आई कैन डिजाइन इट ऑन पेपर. फिजिकली कैसे बनाओगे? हाउ विल यू गेट द मेटलर्जी टू फेस दोज pressures and heats that get emanated when you make such things? How are you going to make sure that it lasts? कि भाई मैंने बना दिया बट 25 घंटे के बाद वो इंजन खत्म हो गया, मेरे को नया इंजन चाहिए. It doesn't work that way these days. No? You need endurance, long lasting. You need life. You're talking today of 5,000, 10,000 hours life. And wanted to push it further so that it lasts longer, because then these new evolving engines are very expensive. अभी आप जेट इंजन का ही ले लो जो इनके साथ आपके साथ R&D होगा. I'm not talking of 424, 434. GE is one of the contenders along with Pratt and Whitney for the adaptive engines. Okay, now the adaptive engine is a variable engine, in the sense that a jet engine need not, all aircrafts you need is supersonic, but I don't need supersonic immediately while takeoff. वो subsonic है, and then it will transfer towards transonic, and then it hits supersonic. But unfortunately, when I make a jet engine which is supersonic, वो शुरू में ही supersonic हो जाता है. I don't need that. So today you are looking at adaptive engines which will have uh, two turbines initially used in parallel. So it will be subsonic and then slowly shifting towards series. So it becomes transonic and supersonic. The load on the engine becomes less for
Much
takeoff.
less.
Life of the engine increases. There is smoothness in your complete flight. Similarly, when I'm coming into land, I don't need it to be supersonic. I don't need to waste my burners.
Plus, it needs to come to supersonic speeds without burners also.
Yes. So that is the future technology. It will take 10, 12 years. Now they are ready to do R&D with you. Now G is betting कि भाई F-22, F-35 Pratt and Whitney को चला गया, उसको नहीं मिला. अब both of them are contenders. अगर वहां नहीं मिला तो आपका आमका नहीं तो फ्यूचर एयरक्राफ्ट के लिए तो वो आपको इंजन तैयार करके दे रहा है, आप ले लोगे उसको, आपके वहीं तो बन रहा है.
और आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट भी होने वाली है जबरदस्त.
आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट होगी, you need, so you have it. So these are the things which evolve as they become comfortable working with you. You will find, see, people look at it only Reaper. No, this is a surveillance के लिए जो होता है, and even for striking, it's a layered sort of a platform. Aerospace is a layered platform. Reaper is filling in a particular vector. बाकी वेक्टर्स को कौन फिल कर रहा है, वो भी बात है ना. तो एक चीज को लेके मत बैठो कि यार रीपर ले लिया, नहीं. There multiple layers which start coming in and start evolving and start coming up, and you're seeing it how the Russians have effectively utilized the drones and the UAVs and UCAVs along with missiles and their air force. Or I would say the effective utilization of aerospace. अब आपको वो, आप यूएस के साथ बैठ के अब आप यू आर ऑल्सो गोइंग टू वर्क ऑन दोस लाइंस.
अभी आप स्पेस के बारे में बात कर रहे हो.
हाँ बिल्कुल, स्पेस, योर एस्ट्रोनॉट विल बी गोइंग टू द इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन. ट्रेनिंग दे आर गोइंग टू डू इट इन टेक्सास, ह्यूस्टन. नाउ द एडवांटेज व्हाट दे गेट, उनके, इट इज नॉट लॉस्ट ऑन देम दैट देयर launch has also failed. And that is why they had to go to the Russians for the logistics support. Now, if they can work with the Indians, the cost of ISRO is almost 1/10 or maybe
maybe lesser
of what they do. So now look at it. I am also sanguine that at some point in time, maybe 10 years down the line, you will be providing the logistics support to International Space Station. And you also are now part of the Artemis Accord.
Yes.
Okay, that means exploration of space, minerals in space, moon, Mars.
Moon, asteroid mining.
Yeah, okay. Now, people may not know कि भाई Artemis Accord मतलब Artemis कौन है? That's a Greek goddess. रोमन में उसको डायना बोलते हैं, गॉडेस ऑफ मून. अपार्ट फ्रॉम हंटिंग एंड अदर्स, शी इज द गॉडेस ऑफ मून. सो वो स्पेस को लेके, दैट इज हाउ द अकॉर्ड वाज कॉल्ड आर्टेमिस अकॉर्ड बाय द अमेरिकन्स. जस्ट थोड़ा समझने के लिए कि आर्टेमिस नाम क्यों आया.
हाँ जी सर. अभी हमने वी टॉक्ड अबाउट डिफेंस. I want to round back to a little bit of the cabal because एक छोटा सा सवाल है. After that, let's go to Pakistan and China, who probably are You know, last night I put out a video, Pakistan blames India, China fears India. So उसके बारे में थोड़ा बात करते हैं. And incidentally, that video kind of clicked everybody, and very good reviews coming of that. General Kamath साहब के साथ.
Yeah,
He's
I
always,
saw that.
he's always in his own, you know, he's very
In
different.
his own inimitable way, he
He's
speaks.
very different. So, sir, now, you know, when you look at, there has to be some politics involved in this entire game, right? I normally don't touch upon politics in this show, but you know, when the parts kind of merge together, which is, you know, this thing, and this is I said in somebody else's show also, that the visit of our political leaders who went to the US and stuff like that, a lot of people are saying, नहीं नहीं यार, ये तो अभी तो regime change का मुद्दा हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है. मैं उल्टा बोल रहा हूँ सर, मैं एंड ये चीज मैं काफी टाइम से बोल रहा हूँ कि साहब ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो सकता कि उसको बोलाओ भाई ये है लाइन, इसके आगे तू क्रॉस नहीं करेगा. लास्ट टाइम तूने क्रॉस करा था, FATF में नाम डाला था तेरा, याद कर ले, वी कैन डू अ लॉट ऑफ डैमेज टू यू. योर मम्मा ओन्स $5 billion, योर दिस योर दैट, वी कैन डू अ लॉट ऑफ डैमेज. So fair enough, you play your politics, but we need this thing to happen because the White House is not stupid to back on a horse lesser than a year before that horse's elections and the White House elections itself. That's my logic, sir. Your comments.
The logic is underlined by the fact that this complete visit and agreement went like a shot. It strengthens both Biden and Modi for 2024. Straight away.
After this, I won't be surprised if Biden comes back. I mean,
Yes, he'll come back. He'll come back. Now, as far as Pakistan is concerned, yes, you're right. I accept Pakistan will blame India. There was a time when Pakistan was geostrategically and geopolitically important. Economically तो खैर कभी important था ही नहीं. वो उसको तो लोन ले लेके काम करने का, he lived by credit. Today, he hates India for the fact that geopolitically, geo-economically, and geostrategically, and especially geo-economically, India has become important. और पाकिस्तान को कोई पूछ नहीं रहा. So he is down the dump. अब रो ले वो बात अलग है, but you have to have sorted out your economy यार. आज के तारीख में भी तुम इकोनॉमी को सॉर्ट आउट तो नहीं कर रहे हो, जो पैसे देने वाला उसको ही गाली दे रहे हो. You are behaving rudely with them. Now suddenly you have been left in the lurch and you don't know what to do. China. I agree with what General Kamath had mentioned. The biggest blunder, Galwan. And the only reason is the megalomaniac mania of Xi to be the tallest leader in the world, forget CCP. I'm reminded of Primakov, the premier of then Russia in late 1996, and he was the one who had propounded Russia-India-China axis. When Russia's outreach to Yeltsin's outreach to EU and the US failed miserably. Like he also made that point now that there was a time when they could have joined hands. They didn't.
Yeah.
They could have held Russia's hand. They didn't. Now it collapsed because even then Jiang Zemin wanted China to be number one in that. Whereas Primakov's was equals. Russia, India, China is equals. And that if we join hands, we become very strong. Yes, you become strong. Today, where is China? You may have the glory and say, I'm talking this, I'm talking that. Let me ask a clear question. Where are you? Economically, you're a total failure.
Mm-hmm.
And if, like, reports are coming out, Shanghai port में तो हफ्ते में एक मुश्किल से 2 दिन शिप आता है.
Their container prices have fallen, sir.
Pardon?
Container prices, sir, $900.
खत्म हो गया पूरा. Your trade is all over, na? Your economy is sinking. your debt, local जो governor, your provinces हैं, they are steeped in debt. We are people only talking of the debt of the central government. What about the provinces? You're not able to. And I was just reading a report. I don't know how true it is. 99% of the people, common people in China, do not support attack on Taiwan.
Really?
Yes, people are openly saying, I will not fight, I will not let my children fight. And you know what they have compared? They have compared Great Britain in First World War. And they say that the amount of, when you look at the percentage of aristocrats and the percentage of deaths in battle, aristocrats had a much higher percentage of death in battle in First World War. The elites went to war. Says, and these people say, you read all our wars, whether it is Korean War, whether it is 62 war, whether it is 79 war, even whatever is going on now. The elites are making money, and it is us poor people who are dying. Why should we fight the elites war? This is the voice which is coming out. Of course, it is being removed, I am told, immediately from their internet reports. But Pangping couldn't care less. But the reverse is true. If they were going to be attacked, then yes, they will fight for their mainland.
Yeah, that's it. Come on. I mean, even
Right? Even if Taiwan is attacking, no, even if Taiwan is attacking, they are ready to defend themselves from Taiwan. But they are not interested in fighting Taiwan. It's not our battle. Let them. The underlying tone is, let them be, यार रहने दो उनको, तुम पीछे क्यों पड़े हो बेफालतू के. The underlying tone is they are not interested in fighting India.
That, I mean, that has come out multiple
They
times.
They are saying, why are you picking up fights for what?
And India is a great power. Don't do this.
For what? Now that is a very telling statement. That's why I say, where is China? People talk of two-front war. No, he has got a three-front war. There is an internal war he has got to fight.
The biggest front he's threatened about is in the Indian front.
No, internal.
हाँ वो
बंदे ही लड़ने नहीं जाएंगे तो क्या करोगे तुम यार? कल को तुम्हारा जो रिक्रूट है वो मना कर दे कि मैं लड़ने नहीं जा रहा हूं, क्या करोगे? कितनों को गोली मारोगे यार? So he has a major problem on his hands, and with this he's going to be most worried, and he will try his level best to fund this anti-India brigade and restart something. He'll try to push Manipur more, but Manipur अभी वो 2-3 गांव का वो बचा हुआ है, बस वही बचा हुआ है. Let's see how long it.
Cookies and Maitis are creating joint defense teams.
Yes. So now that is petering out. So what else can he do? That is what is the main issue we've got to see. Because this opens up the complete avenue for the Europeans now to start dealing with you. So now all their companies start coming in, and I'm sure now Samsung is going to stop its business in US as a in China. As it is, वो कम कर दिया था पूरा, निकालने लगा था. यहाँ पे आने लगा था. Foxconn ने तो बंद ही कर दिया, अभी Apple ने बंद कर दिया, Samsung भी बंद कर देगा. एक एक करके all these companies will start shifting here. Then what does China do? This is going to give a fillip to the de-risking, not decoupling, which they say, otherwise it is decoupling, de-risking, friend-shoring, near-shoring. हो जाएगा यहाँ पे. फिर क्या करोगे? अभी आप बता लो.
Let's थोड़ा we'll take China as the last this thing, sir, because China के ऊपर 2-3 मेरे थोड़े से टेढ़े सवाल हैं जो मेरे को 2-3 क्या एक थोड़ा power pack सब question है. Guys, we are 550 of us watching the show right now. My request is please please like this video, because the kind of stuff I can assure you that we are talking about wouldn't be discussed anywhere. This is the back end scenes, these are the back end strategic plans, and these are the back end games that are played in politics, which is something that we need to understand to know India is standing where. You know, a lot of the times when me and sir used to talk about all this stuff before all this happened, a lot of people say, "Yaar, ye pata nahi kahan se baat kar rahe hain," and all that stuff. Now you can actually see this actually fructifying. Pakistan, sir. So
Khatam.
I could
One
realize
word.
one thing.
One word. Khatam hai. It's over.
Is
They've
Ralph
painted
Peter coming to come true, or is there some other Peter
Ralph
who's
Peter.
sitting in mid of
Modified
night?
Ralph Peter, I
Sir,
would say, because they've painted themselves into a corner now.
sir.
There is nothing for them to get out. उनके nuclear weapons जाएंगे, military will go back into barracks, because see, whatever is happening has to be understood by the people. It's not an existential threat for Pakistan. It has always been an existential threat to the Pak army.
Army.
And so the Pak army has painted itself into a corner. Munir bhai sahab jo karna hai, jo kar le, jaisa kar le. The coming few years, the chapter is over as far as they are concerned. They have no choice. They are lying down in front of that. वो कौन सा है? Tehreek-e-Labbaik. And Tehreek-e-Labbaik is what? Sharia. They used Tehreek-e-Labbaik to overthrow Nawaz Sharif. वो आ गया था सड़क पे, and PTI rode on their shoulders. वो तो शरिया की बात कर रहा है. कहां तक तुम शरिया लाओगे यार? दारू पीते, सब कुछ खाते हो, पोर्क तक खाते हो, हर कुछ खाते हो, तुम दारू पीते हो, जो सब करते हो, कौन सा तुम लेके आओगे यार? एक हाफिज कुरान चीफ बन गया तो क्या हो गया? बाकियों को देखो ना क्या है.
सर हाफिज कुरान कहाँ है? उसको तो चाचू विस्की बोलते हैं.
अब नाम वही तो बोल रहा हूँ ना, हाफिज कुरान हो गया तो क्या हो गया? बाकी देखो ना करते क्या है लोग. Right? So now it's a question of, that's why I keep saying ना, हमने अपना जो प्रॉमिस किया है आगे बात करेंगे कि भाई अपना हमने असेसमेंट करना है, what is necessary for our security.
Net assessment.
Right? So in which वो जनरल दुष्यंत ने बताया था, where now Pakistan will have to be the buffer. I would say what is left of Pakistan is going to be our buffer. That will be the task. और उनको थप्पड़ मार के बताया जाएगा कि भाई साहब ये आपका टास्क है. इंदस के परे तो आपके हाथ से चला गया, तो इंदस के परे छोड़ो, इंदस के इस साइड आप बफर हो और बकवास नहीं करना, और ये जितने लोग हैं उनको भेज दो इंदस के परे. अब बचता क्या है उनके पास? बलूचिस्तान रहता नहीं रहता, सिंध रहता नहीं रहता, एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट जियोपॉलिटिकली, जियोस्ट्रेटेजिकली इज गिलगिट बाल्टिस्तान, which is the northern areas जो पहले बोलते थे. That is the one which is more important, and I think India has to start working now itself with the Americans and others, that now that all this has happened, it is in their interest that we control that area.
So let me just start getting a little hate, because I'm going to talk about how Pakistan can save itself. Pakistan can save itself by going to the US and saying, यार मेरे को $30 billion चाइना को देने, आप मेरे वो दे दो, ठीक है, आपको जो चाहिए दे दो उसके बाद.
क्यों
That's
देगा?
the only way. That is the only way.
पहले ये सॉर्ट आउट होगा, और फिर नहीं, वो तो बोलेगा चीन को कुछ दो ही नहीं. He is going to do the same thing to China, what China and Pakistan, what China did with Venezuela. Venezuela owed money to the US. Chinese said, show them two fingers, I am with you. So they did that. But हुआ क्या? Venezuela तो वहीं का वहीं है, कचरा है आज की तारीख में भी.
वो फर्क नहीं पड़ता ना सर.
But now what Americans are going to tell? 30 billion क्यों वापस कर रहा है? कह दे हम नहीं दे सकते, take a walk, I won't give you. And बाकी I will help you. ये तुम्हारा इलाका होगा, ये होगा, तेरा आज के तारीख में ये रोल होगा, which you will follow. खत्म. Chapter closed.
So Pakistan closed. Now China, sir, is very critical to me. बड़ा हमारा you're my
चाइना का
best
यही
friend sir.
होगा. If this happens with Pakistan over the next 3, 4, 5 years, immediate तो होगा नहीं वो, it will take a while to work with them and get it over. That becomes the domino effect. श्रीलंका बोलेगा सॉरी टेक अ वॉक,
Take a
हम नहीं
walk.
देते, हम नहीं देते. एक एक करके कीनिया, ज़ैम्बिया, एवरीबॉडी विल से टेक अ वॉक, हम नहीं देते. Because
Bangladesh,
it is not
Nepal.
that it is not necessary for the US to be with them, we will be with them.
It's a combined
खत्म.
force ना सर. फिर आप
हाँ,
बात
खत्म.
कर रहे हो बड़ी.
फिर
हाँ.
चाइना का, that's why I said ना, where is China now today?
So this
If
is
they
what
start,
brings me to the China part now.
yeah.
ठीक है.
But
China is
China
worried.
needs a thinker now to rethink their vision.
Strategy.
What is it that they want? Their vision has collapsed. Their Tianjia has collapsed or is collapsing. जो उन्होंने सोचा था वो मिला नहीं उनको. Essentially, I would blame Xi Jinping for being aggressive and overreaching. अगर ये नहीं किया होता, अभी भी Chinese would have been good boys. Chinese would have been good boys, चलते रहते चुपचाप से, अंदर से सबको खोखला करते, चुपचाप से चलते रहते, सारा कुछ चलता रहता. और 20-25 साल बाद सडनली पीपल वुड हैव रियलाइज कि चाइना ने तो हमको खा लिया. So we have to thank our stars that Xi Jinping did what he did, and India is not alone now. Everybody has woken up to the fact that he is not a good chap. So now where are they? Xi Jinping में सोच तो है नहीं, because अब सारे उसने पढ़े पढ़ाए लोग को फेंक के अपने चिम्मचों को ले आया. And the other day I was laughing when South China Morning Post is talking about some old 82-year-old Harvard economist, पढ़ा हुआ Lee Hugh, somebody, that Xi Jinping still listen to him. अबे हमें उल्लू समझ रखा है, आज तक तो उसका नाम नहीं आया, एंड सडनली कहीं आप उसको उठा के ले आ रहे हो कि उसकी बात सुनता है. कैसे सुनेगा यार, क्या करोगे तुम? See, this is the problem with socialism, which we also faced for so many years.
Yes.
Okay. When you do not have any major economic activity within, then you depend on land. आप अपने जितने भी ये सोशलिस्टिक पार्टी हैं, जो भी बोले, अपने वो कौन से हैं यार, इनका लोहिया ग्रुप और ये ग्रुप, सारे जमीन के पीछे जाते हैं कि एक्सपेंशन यहां होने वाला है, मैं जमीन खरीदूंगा, जमीन बेचूंगा, पैसे बनाऊंगा. किसी ने ये नहीं, पहला ये गवर्नमेंट आया हुआ है जो पैसे बनाता है थ्रू इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी, नॉट थ्रू लैंड. अब आप पप्पू के उसको भी देख लो ना, जीजा जी को, पीतल के कटोरे बेच बेच के जमीन के थ्रू तो करोड़पति बन गए. अब he's become a billionaire through what? Land. Controlling land. You want to make the maximum about land. अब वही हालत चाइना का था, उसके स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स के, जो प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट है. अब लैंड तो उतना ही है यार. बंदा आएगा पैसे देने के लिए जब उसके पास जेब में पैसा है. अब जब जेब में पैसे ही नहीं है तो उस जमीन का लेके करोगे क्या तुम? So now what they were doing, only infrastructure development, which deals with land. Infrastructure बनाना है, land चाहिए. There is no money which is coming out of that infrastructure. Money comes from infrastructure when you have concurrent economic development. Manufacturing activity, productivity होता है जिसके ऊपर वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को यूज करता है. वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को यूज करता है, आपका प्रोडक्ट बनता है, मूवमेंट होता है, टैक्स मिलता है, इतने बने, ये टैक्स मिले, ये टैक्स मिले. जैसे हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बना रहे हैं हमारे प्रोडक्टिविटी के लिए, ताकि आपका जैसे जैसे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बेहतर होता गया है, आप देखो ईयर ऑन ईयर आपका जीएसटी कलेक्शन कितना बढ़ गया है, और उसी के साथ आप लिंक कर दो आपका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कैसे बढ़ा. दैट दीज आर इंटरकनेक्टेड थिंग्स. आप प्रोडक्टिविटी बना दो, आपके पास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है, वो तो आपके वेयर हाउस में पड़ा रहेगा। आपने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाया है तो देयर इज सेल विच टेक्स प्लेस ना, द प्रोडक्ट्स मूव। That has not been done by the Chinese. Whatever product they were making for exports. कितना बोल दो ड्यूअल सर्कुलेशन, इंटरनल सर्कुलेशन, those things don't work ना। आपकी है ही नहीं, आपके एग्रीकल्चर ही नहीं है, यू आर फूड डिपेंडेंट, यू डिडंट इवन थिंक अबाउट हाउ टू मेक दैट arid land work. You could have taken ideas from the Israelis. Look at how they have developed with hardly any water which is available to them.
Yeah, desalination and this and that.
Yeah, सारा कुछ किया, कुछ नहीं किया आपने। You still importing. You decided to take land in other countries, occupy land in other countries for your, little realizing that the weather pattern of every country is different. What crop you can grow in those countries is based on the weather pattern of that country. It need not necessarily be the same as the weather pattern in your country. That is where the Chinese have failed. Despite that multiple digit growth and all, they failed in that basic structure. They have failed. I am a layman economist. Layman knowledge of whatever I have read on internet, academy में थोड़ा पढ़ा था, whatever I have read on internet and other things. This is what I have understood. तरक्की के लिए आपको हर सेक्टर में ग्रोथ चाहिए, केवल इंफ्रा में करने से कुछ नहीं होता। आपने बनाया SEZs and gave them land all along the eastern seaboard. Even today, I would tell all our listeners, go to Google Earth, go to night Google, see the lights in China, see the lights in India, and you'll see the disparity. India में the development is virtually all over, equitably. China में except for the eastern seaboard, बाकी पूरा अंधेरा है. The night sky, the night lights indicate to you where the development has taken place. क्योंकि बिजली है, आप डेवलपमेंट करते हो तो बिजली आता है, बिजली है तो वो दिखेगा आपको।
Absolutely, sir. सर सवाल लेते हैं लोगों के, काफी सारे बड़े सारे सवाल हैं। 700 बंदे हैं हमारे साथ। We've got 700 people with us right now.
इसी में लास्ट बताता हूँ what has happened with this agreement is,
हाँ जी,
State Department is on one side and you have the White House, the Department of Defense, the Military Industrial Complex, the Science and Technology Department, and the trade on one side. All the others are with India. They want India because that is how their economy and rest of the world's economy, global economy will stabilize. State Department was running the anti-India campaign. वो बेचारा अकेला पड़ गया. And the first indicator is Ambassador साहब को जैसे given the option, which he couldn't refuse. He was one of the leading voices of anti-India campaign there. अब यहाँ you can know what is happening with him and what all happens now. And so the far left who were there, the leadership of Obama, now suddenly find themselves isolated, and that is the reason why Obama was forced to come and give this interview in CNN. So that's where it stands. One head of CNN is already rolled, that person who was there, उसके अगेंस्ट कोई और केस हो गया था. अभी देखते हैं और क्या क्या केस होता है CNN के लोगों के ऊपर. In this battle within the Democrats and the battle in White House and other departments, what happens?
That's the main thing, sir, because at the end of it, Michelle has been kept out.
Yeah, she's out. Khatam. I would say Obama chapter is over. He had been trying to dominate Biden, and I think Biden has had enough that I am the POTUS, not you. So I will call the shots, and he has called the shots. It is something like what happened when our nuclear agreement was going on, when Manmohan Singh stood his ground.
Yeah.
Okay, but that is a different issue, that after that he became silent. But here Biden has taken a very strong stance, and he has looked at it not just at US, but ठीक है, EU को सॉर्ट आउट कर दिया है, so in future EU will not even think of going independently, having their own force. They're totally dependent on NATO. But he needed a Marshall thing for their similar thing for their economy also to survive. So with this agreement, everyone becomes happy, and the global South is also happy कि sort out हो गया है, अभी सारा कुछ हो जाएगा.
और दूसरा सर, India will make these engines at very half the cost and start throwing
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah. No, it's not only that. With this, what happens is the global economy starts stabilizing. And so the global South also benefits a lot from that. Because after all,
Sir,
they need a slightly stable economy to help them.
आपने मैंने एक बारी बात करी थी सर, एंड हम लोग काफी टाइम से ये ऐसी एनालिसिस कर रहे हैं. आपने मैंने एक बारी बात करी थी, मैंने आपसे पूछा था सर, निर्मला सीतारमन 15 days in the US.
तो ये दिख रहा है ना, सारे आपके ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट्स एंड सारा कुछ हो गया ना, एंड दो 6 थिंग्स इन WTO वो भी सॉर्ट आउट हो गया, सारा हो गया.
एंड आई वोंट बी सरप्राइज सर, अभी वो रिजर्व भी आ जाएगा आपका IMF के साथ.
वो सब आ जाएगा. योर रुपी विल बिकम वन ऑफ द रिजर्व करेंसीज.
Because if you remember, Russia has already announced that we've got 2 billion of Indian rupee with us. Yes. As a reserve. They've said these words.
As a reserve.
So, yeah. UAE has, Russia has, Saudi has.
Whole lot of them have, so it will become a reserve currency और बहुत जलेगा अपने जो इंडियन एंटी इंडिया ब्रिगेड है विद इन इंडिया.
वो तो सर पता नहीं, I mean, they're normally so aggressive. I thought यार कुछ तो होगा, चलो ठीक है, एटलीस्ट इंडिया का कुछ फोर्स दिखेगा, प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे, ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे, एंड समथिंग दे विल डू. चलो ठीक है यार, that will show that India has become a big power. Side ही कर दिया. I was like, oh shit.
It is like what Colin Powell had said on Desert Storm, na? Shock and awe. Sir. This agreement is the shock and awe for the anti-India brigade. They don't know how to respond now.
How to respond to it. अभी वही है ना सर, वो they will never give you technology. Oh, this is expensive. Modi's English is not okay. As if geopolitics is governed by Modi's English. I mean, I don't see, this is something I want to actually bring about by the show. Is that, yeah, it is not Modi.
It is India.
Modi, it is India. It is you, me, and everyone else.
Yeah.
If somebody thinks that
he is just our representative who's there. He represents India. But वो उनको अखरता है ना, क्योंकि ये लुटियंस गैंग का नहीं है.
वो बंदा नहीं पसंद सर, उसमें हमारी क्या गलती है?
बंदा नहीं पसंद नहीं. It is their वो क्या लुटियंस गैंग think it is their birthright to rule.
अच्छा.
तो वो उस गैंग का नहीं है. तो he doesn't represent India. India is represented only by the Luthians gang or the Khan Market gang जो बोलते हैं.
So let's get into some questions, sir. काफी सारे questions हैं, and guys, as usual, 730 plus people watching. Please like यार, 700 लोग तो like कर दो कम से कम. Like कर दो यार. This is a show that more and more people must watch, because it gives, and I'm being very lighthearted about this whole show is because I'm happy here. Let me be very, very clear about this. I'm excited. I'm happy. Because this is a thing that I think all of us have been dreaming about, that India gets recognized on the world stage. One of the biggest giveaways for me was the factor that the West, and I think it was the Hill that printed this article, and Hill is a hardcore establishment magazine, had printed an article talking about the factor that we should be grateful to India to keeping the oil prices in check. And that to me was the biggest giveaway कि यार ये तो पासा पलट गया. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, yes, you can contribute to the DevTalks effort. The QR code is right there. You can become a member or send us a super sticker or a super chat. Srikanji, thank you so much for joining in as a member. Bala, welcome back as a member of DevTalks. Mandar, nice to see you back after a long time, brother. On DevTalks, and
quite a while
back. Quite a while. I haven't seen him around for quite a bit. So that is there, and let's get into the super chats. Ishan, thanks so much for your contribution. He says, Jayan sir, recently a certain head of a Indo-Italian political dynasty had a meeting with certain shady people in USA before our beloved PM Modi ji's visit. What effects do you think that meeting would have on 2024? I think we covered a little bit on this. Sir, would you like to add anything?
I'll just add, even before the opposition meeting took place, I think yesterday, three have broken ranks. No? They have given statements against this same political dynasty,
Characters.
right? AAP, TMC, and there was one more, I think BJD or something. They've
Yeah.
already broken ranks. No, not
This is the
BJD. Another party of Bihar. They've broken
this is
ranks.
this is one of the biggest reasons I don't talk about domestic politics is because it is irrelevant.
No, see,
You know, in this
one
sort of
thing
a
I will tell
scenario.
you, as a common voter, I am a common voter.
Yes, sir.
I look at what do you bring to the table. So here you have a party which is giving that this is how I am working towards the development of India and showing results on ground.
So
Will you vote for a group of people who just get together and say our mission is just to defeat him in election? Excuse me, I am 1.4 billion people. Aren't you thinking about me? What do you bring to the table for me? What is your view on development for India? What is your contrarian view? And especially after this one agreement that they have done, there is no contrarian view. What is this contrarian view you're going to bring? That is what the PM had mentioned. You ideas are debated. The point which these people have made, they have given an idea that this is my vision of how I want to take India forward. What is your idea, yaar? Your idea can't be to defeat BJP. Thank you, yaar. Look, खेल थोड़ी हो रहा है, like Mamta saying खेला हो बे. अबे, you think this is a game?
this is not Pakistan, sir. You can't be anti
Not a
anything. You
game,
have to be
yaar.
pro something.
You have to tell me what is your idea for my betterment, for my development. So
Yeah.
that's where it stands.
Absolutely. Ishan, once again, thanks so much, sir. Do you believe that Taliban clamping down on opium trade and clampdowns on human trafficking networks in Eastern EU and South America will dent the income of certain Western three-letter agencies?
तो तालिबान क्लैंपिंग डाउन तो सबसे पहले पाकिस्तान की वाट लगेगी यार. Today, with no money, he was depending on not only the black market of oil and other things, he was depending on this opium trade. या opium से heroin बन के drug trade पे उसका धंधा चल रहा था. वो तो धंधा ही बंद हो गया ना उसका. And the opium trade here is being controlled by these people. The drug trade in Central America is being looked after by certain Western three-letter agencies. It's not here, it's there. Human trafficking networks, mafia.
Sadly, sir, can I? I've read a lot about human trafficking, sir. I'm sorry, but if I may interject, the funny thing is, world gives a black rat about human trafficking. To be very honest with you,
It's very sad which takes place because you are actually
terrible, sir.
killing the soul of that person.
Nobody cares, sir. I mean, the kind of work which is done on anti-China, anti-Russia, anti-this, anti-that. I wish 10% of that effort is put into trafficking.
Or I say, even if you put 1% effort into that, you'll save a lot of lives.
I mean, the other day I was reading a report, sir, in Ghana. It saddens me to say this, but in Ghana, there are children markets where people bring their children in bags and stuff like that. I mean, I'm very interested in this because it's quite not interested. I've been wanting to learn about it. Yeah, and I do read every day. Spend a little time reading a report here and there. It's. I mean, if I read it at night now, sometimes you can't sleep. It's terrible. I've never spoken about this because this is something that I kind of just a research of my own.
For those Western three-letter agencies, the bulk of the money doesn't come from human trafficking. It comes from
Drugs.
Illegal arms trade and drugs trade. That's where the bulk of the money comes.
And by the way, human beings aren't expensive, no? So
Yeah,
it's not. And
it
they
doesn't give
basically
them much
taken up
money, but it's a
in these,
sad part. It's a sad story.
it's they're taken to these Middle Eastern countries mostly as slaves and stuff like that, as this thing. Some of them actually, and a lot of data is there, and that's the positive of it, that these, since these Middle Eastern countries are opening up a little bit, a lot of them have actually had decent lives. I mean, in the sense they've had the house, they had some money coming in and stuff like that, because the mindsets are changing in the Middle East. But this still happens. I mean, it's terrible. Uh, Rahul, thanks so much for your super chat. Modi met Buddhist scholar in US. Also, Richard Gere was doing yoga next to Modi. Any plan to ignite Tibet by US in India? The Tibet liberation will be the best way to resolve the border issue.
It won't happen overnight. I will leave it at that. Takes time.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, Gilgit, Baltistan, Pakistan. So even all these issues in China, why only Tibet, even Xinjiang? Why forget the people out there, the kind of treatment that is going on to them? Not,
So,
no civilized country can that. So that's why I laugh when Xi Jinping talks of global civilizational index. What civilization? You're intent on destroying civilizations. You may like, you may not like, but that doesn't mean if you don't like something, you try and destroy that civilization.
guys, please
That's not
have
how
a
that's not how civilizations work.
please watch this video I did with the official spokesperson of the Tibetan government in exile.
Yeah.
Um, Although I have differences with the Tibetan perception of Tibet itself, but I mean, have a look at that chat. It's very interesting. Although his voice was not very clear, but it was a very interesting discussion. The way he spoke, it was very good. Frag out, thanks so much for your contribution. And I think you missed putting a note, and I read it somewhere. Yeah, he says I mistakenly sent a blank super chat. But my question is, what will happen to Pakistan's nuclear assets if it's going to be disintegrated?
Pakistan is not going to be disintegrated. I've never said that ever. The nuclear assets will get neutralized, like the manner in which the
Uttar Pacific.
Ukrainian, Kazakhstan, and others, the nuclear assets were done through IAEA. That will happen because they are already painted themselves in a corner. They have no choice, and it doesn't disintegrate. Yes, the shape and size may differ. I'll
The
leave
name
it at
will still remain, by the way.
name is there. The shape and size may differ.
They might just call it Punjabistan later on, but
They
sorry.
won't do that.
I'm allowed, sir. I'm a Punjabi, so I'm allowed to say that. Before I start getting hate that you hate Punjabis, I'm a Punjabi myself, yeah, so I'm allowed.
What shape and size ultimately in the near to medium term it is left with is open to question.
So, Srinivasan, thank you so much for your super sticker. And just allow me to scroll back up. There's so many comments. Uh, he says, Hardeep says, hello, Jansar and Adi. Is this the beginning of India ruling Asia by an iron fist with a velvet glove?
There is no iron fist as far as India is concerned. It is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Everybody goes. The iron fist is meant only for the person who tries to disturb that. It is not meant to control. See, this is in our DNA, the ancient concept of Chakravarti. Chakravarti was very strong, but he didn't attack the neighboring kingdoms. उनको छत्र छाया में रखता था that you all prosper, everybody prospers. You won't attack each other. Anybody else trying to attack you, उसको iron fist मिलता था. The Chakravarti would come. That was what the Ashwamedh Yajna was all about. That when you felt you were strong enough, you moved it. People accepted your superiority, not vassalage, your superiority. And there was a certain amount of indemnity annually you had to give so that he could maintain that strong necessary forces to be able to protect you. And as that Chakravarti declined, another Chakravarti would come up. You can look at the wars of Ramayana and Mahabharata from the view of that also, that if a Chakravarti was not doing what he was supposed to do, then the powers rises up, they join hands together to topple him. And in before Mahabharata, the person who had to be sorted out was Jarasandh. First Kans, then Jarasandh, then finally Duryodhan had to be sorted out because they were not. It was felt that Chhatra Dharma, Kshatriya Dharma was not being
Followed.
and that is the
Arshdeep,
reason why Ravan had also to go. He was not following the Kshatriya Dharma, the Kshatriya
sir.
Dharma. Okay, so that
Harshdeep,
is where, you were saying something.
I wanted to actually point him to the talk that you have given, sir.
Huh.
The journey
Okay,
from India to Bharat, and this is a
Bharat,
talk that
yeah.
that sir had done. Please check this out in the
From
folders. Not very
Hindustan,
far back.
Bharat to Hindustan to India, and now coming back to
Back
Bharat.
to yeah. Sorry to
So
interject, but
Bharat,
that was
yeah,
a very
that is where we talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam,
mm,
where everybody is a family, and which is what internally Modi ji says, "Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas," is also for the other countries that Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, or Sabka Vishwas. That trust us, we will trust you, you trust us, we will all prosper together. एक के प्रॉस्पर होने से नहीं होता है, not the Tianxia what the Chinese follow. Okay, so the iron fist is not meant for the countries who are prospering along with you, where they permit you. Iron fist is meant for somebody else who tries to attack you or disturb
interesting. Sir, there are two questions talking about similar topics, so I'll take them together. Ask one of the main figures behind Soros has come out from the shadow. Who are or will come out of the shadow next? Your view on it. And Maya asks, is it true that Obama has taken money for this talk about Muslims in India? Tweet is going viral that he was paid $400 million for it. If true, shows his desperation.
you. Both are interconnected. I won't say Obama is also the face. Please remember the White House is a face. They're not the main people. There are other people behind the deep state there who control people. In this case, the trade and military industrial complex are very powerful today, and they are the backing for Biden. Obama, yes, he takes money. He has taken money. What your information is 400 million. My information is 3 billion. 3 billion is what he has taken.
What, retirement package at what, 60?
So that is the information going viral. I don't know how true it is. That's a tweets and other things, and there are more tweets about when he was the president. He gave some contract of 350 billion, out of which 65 billion was taken as kickback. A lot of it is coming out. So Obama has always been anti-India. Let's be very clear on that. He's always been anti-India. He's never liked India, and he is who's something Hussein Obama. So let's not forget that he's a Muslim. Okay, and the second part, most important, what the most of these Muslims who are leading the anti-India brigade forget, that he is the one who has fought all the Muslim countries. 8 million Muslims have died. 12 million and plus, and still counting, are displaced people. So if somebody is to be called up for genocide, is Mr. Obama. And surprise, surprise, the moment he won the elections, he was given a Nobel Peace Prize, God knows for what.
For a speech that he gave in Paris.
Yeah, Nobel Peace Prize. And what peace? He's attacked Syria, he's attacked Libya, the ongoing battles in Lebanon, ongoing battles in Yemen, ongoing battles in Iraq. You can name so many. Yeah. How many people he has known? चलो इराक पहले से हुआ था. सीरिया लिबिया किसने गया वो? येमेन की लड़ाई क्यों शुरू की? They're not Muslims. So you're worried about here where there are no battles fought, and you're not worried about the Muslims in the Middle East where you have created all the problems.
What about the surge in Afghanistan, sir?
Yeah. So
we went up to almost 200,000 troops in Afghanistan at one time.
So now the problem with Obama is he's feeling left out, like I had mentioned in my talk, that his wife wanted to contest 2024, उसको ticket नहीं मिल रहा, because Obama has Biden has bid for his second term, and with this agreement he knew कि अगर ये हो जाता है तो chapter close है, उसका हो गया. पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे यार? मिलिट्री इंडस्ट्रियल एंड ट्रेड तो पूरा इनके पीछे आ गया, द चिप इंडस्ट्री इनके पीछे आ गया, सब इनके पीछे आ गए, तो पैसे कहाँ से कलेक्ट होंगे? टू स्टैंड एंड रन फॉर primaries and elections in US presidential elections is not cheap यार, you need a
Very
huge
expensive.
box. तो donations आने, donations कौन देगा? He thought he might put some spanner, कुछ नहीं हुआ. He would have been most worried because in the Congress, when he addressed both the Congress, look at the kind of standing ovation he's got here, and how many times he had to stop his speech because of the clapping. I think 11 or 12 times in the 58
19.
minutes.
19
times he got a standing ovation. Yeah. That itself speaks here. That means your Congress, complete both houses of Congress are with him. तो उसके साथ कौन है? ओबामा के साथ बेचारा. तो रिटायर हो गया यार, तो क्यों में खड़े होके ब्रेड वेड खरीदता है, अपना फोटो ऑप करता है, खुश रहे
यार. I mean, you're a young fellow. Go become something. Go bloody become peace ambassador to the World Economic Forum or some crap like that. बैठे रहो वहाँ पर. Sorry, I can't even say that with a straight face because we all know what the bloody agenda there is. Brijla Mohanty, interesting question I must say regarding the GE engine. Is it 100% TOT with IPR? Secondly, is there a chance that USA will now offer submarine tech to India in the future?
Firstly, TOT के साथ IPR होता नहीं है. IPR, you are all signatories to it. The reason they are giving you the TOT is because they have seen that with the Russians also, when you had the TOT, you never broke the IPR. Unlike the Chinese, who tried to copy, you have not done that. It's not clear at the moment whether it is 100% or 80%. Some say 100%, some say 80%. But once it comes out in public, तभी पता चलेगा कि what exactly has been signed. And nuclear submarine technology, if it is required, हो सकता है, that is not an issue.
Yeah. Vanakkam from Malaysia, Major General sir, wanted to know why India chooses US GE engines in tech instead of UK or France or Russian. US GE engines are the best.
It's all a question of make in India.
Who gives you the Sapphire? Didn't want to do it.
French Rafale, they were not ready to do the deal with HAL. So it died its death. GE is ready to do the deal with HAL, and they are it because they are also going to place their people here. The French were not ready to place their people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the whole issue where it died, and which the French will now realize that they made a mistake. Because I really don't know if the Rafale deal for aircraft carrier will come through.
I was actually thinking on both sides, sir. Whether it does come through, you're also putting across.
Because the reason I'm saying it is to counter that Indigo has placed 500 orders, 500 with Airbus.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Where is the biggest, who's the biggest beneficiary of Airbus? Where is it? Toulouse, in France. Right?
So either India is going to say, "Teko de diya bhai, ab tu jara side
de diya." अब अगर मैंने GE का इंजन ले लिया है and 414 का लेके मैं बना रहा हूँ जो F-18 में लगा हुआ है, it doesn't take rocket science here.
And दूसरा, I think the Rafale deal is going to come out for the Air Force, sir. I
वो Air Force के लिए एक्स्ट्रा जो चाहिए होगा वो उसमें आएगा.
मेरे को वो लग रहा है सर, because there is some
naval का, now that you have got your F-18 aircraft uses this very same engine, yeah. And they have all the latest avionics. And now, by the way, shortlisted and what has been sent is for both these, F-18 and Rafale. जो गया हुआ है, जो फाइनल 2 जो शॉर्टलिस्ट होके गए हैं, एक शॉर्टलिस्ट कभी नहीं होता है, 2 करते हैं. तो 2 गए हैं जो रफाल एंड F-18 गया हुआ है. अब जी का आपने साइन कर दिया, तो जहां तक मेरे कहा, I could be wrong, but I feel that F-18 now has an edge as far as the Navy is concerned.
So a lot of questions are there about the frag technology and all that, but I think you've already mentioned that we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for the deal.
अभी तो स्टेटमेंट आया है, क्या क्या निकल के आता है, बट द मेन थिंग इज they are giving you all the metallurgical technologies and other things. That is a very important part.
Yeah, yeah.
Because and this will you emerge. Don't say कि भी साइन हो गया तो कल शुरू हो जाएगा. Technology absorption takes a little time.
Takes time.
Our people have to absorb and understand, because this was the gap that we faced with Kaveri. So how do you shift that hurdle? How do you absorb those technologies? How you work? You need those machine tooling that is required for that technology. How do you get those machine tools? How do you work with those machine tools? How do you improve and get to the next level? So that will take its own time, and that's the way it is.
You know, the interesting thing that I'm looking at in this is that this is a balancing act that you played, but you played it better than what the Americans actually did with the French in terms of the AUKUS.
Yeah.
It's a quieter game.
You see, Air India had already given the order with Boeing. Now you have given the order there. So let's see आगे क्या निकलता है फ्रेंच के साथ, क्या देखिए.
बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सा गेम है that you're basically, because of your economy and the power that you can actually exert to spend money, now instead of the buyer actually saying यार दे दो यार, you've got sellers lining up and saying यार ले ले यार, क्या चाहिए तेरे को और बोल.
And
it's a very,
you got to, like I said, the global economy. US is there, EU is there, Russia is there.
Yeah.
China को भूल जाओ. US, EU, Russia. You looked after Russia. Okay. By that crude का आपने करके, because it's a resource driven, तो खैर बाकी materials and minerals तो West वगैरह ले ही रहे थे. The biggest one was crude. You're the biggest buyer of the crude, and you have now become one of the biggest suppliers of the refined Russian crude to the world.
Yeah, which is acknowledged, by the way.
Yeah, and so that has balanced Russian economy. Now with these, what you're doing, you're balancing and providing succor to both Europe, which desperately needs it. So this Airbus वाला जो deal किया है Indigo ने 500 का, it's going to help the EU economy, and you're going to look after US. UK and Canada have to sort their own internal problems out before you're going to reach out with them. तो उसका ताता थैया भी चलेगा थोड़ा दोनों के साथ.
जतिंदर सिंह ट्रूडो has to be spoken to, sir.
तो ट्रूडो तो खैर क्या कर सकता है. They have to take a call. क्या कर सकते हैं, क्या नहीं कर सकते हैं. And Canada actually is in the back burner. It is UK which has to sort out its internal problem before our free trade agreement comes through.
Yes, sir. G. Kukreti Saab asked, what is the role of Britain in current geopolitics of Pakistan? Are they the stakeholder part of the establishment of Pakistan?
Sir, in my opinion, honest opinion, zero. Their role is zero. It is India, Russia. In India and US. Russia, China का था अभी with Ukraine war खत्म हो गया. So the only other competitor with India and US is China, and China भी अब hold कम हो गया because their CPEC has gone nowhere. Britain का कभी था वो खत्म हो गया है. वो खुद रिसेशन फेस कर रहा है. क्या पाकिस्तान में स्टेक होल्डर करेगा. It is like Germany taking out their first time ever the national security strategy and calling China the biggest threat. यार you are facing a recession. पहले अपना national economic strategy तो निकाल. तो क्या करने वाला है. Security strategy के पास पैसे कहाँ तेरे वांदे लगे हुए. You are in recession. So that's laughable.
Yeah.
EU taking out कि भाई इंडो पैसिफिक रिपोर्ट. अबे यार तेरे से रशिया संभाला नहीं जा रहा. तू इंडो पैसिफिक स्ट्रेटेजी कैसे एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. लिख दो पेपर में, अच्छा लगता है, बट कैन यू वॉक द टॉक. So that's the same way with UK. यार is facing stagflation. पैसे है नहीं. Everything is going through the roof. They are crying. इन्होंने अभी yesterday only they have increased the percentage points. Their chancellor, everybody is crying. कॉमन मैन इज क्राइंग कि मैंने घर मॉर्टगेज में लिया था, साला मेरा जितना पैसा मंथली जाता था मॉर्टगेज में मेरे को डबल देना है, खाने के पैसे है नहीं. दीज आर द इश्यूज दैट आर देयर. वो पाकिस्तान, जैसे वो फेमस स्टोरी स्टेटमेंट है ना हिंदी मूवी का, प्रेम चोपड़ा का, नंगा नहाएगा क्या निचोड़ेगा क्या. यूके का आज के तारीख में यार, नंगा नहाएगा क्या निचोड़ेगा क्या. वो जमाने तो गए यार, वो जमाने गए. अब कोई स्टेक होल्डर नहीं है, अपना इकोनॉमी ठीक कर ले वही बहुत है.
प्रोपेगेंडा चला सकते हो यार तुम, बट ठीक है, आई मीन प्रोपेगेंडा
वो
में
तो उसके लिए पैसे की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती ना, बीबीसी है और उसके साथ चला लो जो चलाना है, कोई फर्क
उसकी भी
नहीं
दुकान
पड़ता.
बंद हो रही है सर हर जगह. तो यू नो,
क्या करो.
let's take the last two, sir. Venki साहब, thank you so much for your contribution. He says, ट्रिविया, जब प्रतिद्वंदी हद से अधिक शक्तिशाली और समर्थवान हो जाए तो उससे दोस्ती करने में ही भलाई और समझदारी है. Thanks for making me test my Hindi. I can still read. Which is why the US deep state has conceded to US operandi.
Modus operandi.
Wow.
Yeah,
ये हुई ना बात.
very nice pun on the word, sir.
I know.
Hats off to you. But yes, no, it is not that you are not become very strong. It is just that geo-economically, India today is in the strongest position globally. और अगर यूएस एंड ईयू को अपना इकोनॉमी ठीक कराना है तो ये एग्रीमेंट करना था. इसी एग्रीमेंट से सप्लाई चेन हब चाइना से निकल के bulk of it will start coming into India and they will start earning money. It's not a joke when Elon Musk starts talking. China must be worried that he is happy and he looks forward to a rise of India. Rise of India, that's his word. Huh? And it is positive about the rise of India and it may happen soon. He'll shift his Tesla factory from there.
Why? 3 years back when we said bring your Tesla factory, he said no, you buy the cars that are manufactured in China.
Manufactured in China.
Now he's saying
bringing
no.
I want to bring it here. Yeah. He is offering Starlink to India. Okay, because पैसा बोलता है. अब चाइना के पास पैसा है नहीं, आपके पास पैसा है तो आपके दरवाजे के सामने सारे खड़े हो जाएंगे कि मेरा माल ले लो यार.
जी साहब.
और मदद कर दो, बिकॉज अगर माल नहीं बिकेगा तो उसके पास पैसे नहीं होंगे.
जी.
That is the old. And they had no choice. You're right. The deep state had no choice. किसके पास जाते?
And last one, Rahul, thanks so much for your contribution. What's happening in Russian army? Wagner rebellion has any relation with Modi's US visit or Chinese hand in it? Firstly, I'll try and do a chota show in the night about this thing. I have some stuff to talk about this.
Wagner rebellion may have been paid money by the US and the West, but it's I would say a chota speck. He lost a lot of troops. वो 25,000 बोलने के लिए कितना भी बोल दो. पाकपुत में उसके बहुत casualties हुए. That was the reason why he was. That is why he was pulled back, and the Chechens have gone there. Okay, and then everything got stabilized और सारा कुछ खत्म हो गया. वो उसके तो अब यूक्रेन में दम बचा नहीं है, तो इसकी पूछ हो नहीं रही है. Because he didn't succeed in Bakhmut, the Chechens succeeded in Bakhmut. तो अब sideline हो रहा है, तो he is trying to पैसे वैसे मिल गए होंगे, पिट जाएगा, and he'll become a footnote in history.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that रात को, because इसके बारे में मतलब 10-15 मिनट से ज्यादा का शो नहीं है, because you know I don't want to speculate anything what the hell is happening because it's their own country, but general points.
He'll tell you, but I'll tell you, he'll become a footnote in. If he has to be, he'll be a footnote in history in that sense.
Sir, I say him, his family and every individual that he spoke to very closely or had a drink with in the past 3 years will become a footnote in history. If I know the Russians very well.
No, I'm saying Wagner Group will become a footnote in history. ये Wagner Group होता था, ये कुछ किए थे. That's about it.
You know, he gave a statement. I'm not Putin's chef. I'm Putin's butcher. That's what he said. He really doesn't know what's coming towards him. Sir, I must compliment the research and the clarity of thought. I must say this, and I think the people watching us till now, 782 who are online with us.
Thank you, sir.
Will also agree that by far, I would say that this is a very, very amazing roundup of what is happening. Of course, the story will go on, guys. Me and Sir will discuss this even further, and next week I'll give you a sneak preview. Unless until some big bomb drops in, the topic is going to be how do we take POK back. Now, this is something that we hinted on today. सर ने
Yes.
भी एक बड़ा सा बॉम्ब हिंट के बारे में हिंट के तौर में फेंका है. But we will discuss this because everybody talks about a military intervention and this and that. So,
नहीं, इसमें एक ही था एड ऑन फाइनल
जी.
that अभी in the next coming decade you will see a whole lot of big land and huge buildings and a whole lot of data centers coming in India. Okay, that's how you will progress with AI.
Yeah.
बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स एंड एआई. तो अभी डेटा सेंटर आपके यहाँ पे बनने शुरू हो जाएंगे काफ़ी सारे, एंड वी शुड कंटिन्यू ऑन दिस पाथ, and that is how you will get your Amrit Kal.
Absolutely.
At least by the time we are 100th year of independence and we are back to being Bharat, we would have traversed from being Bharat to Hindustan to India and the path of coming back towards Bharat. And we will be economically, geopolitically, geostrategically, and militarily quite strong.
Sir, I can't summarize the show any better. All I will say is thank you and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Absolutely, sir. Jai Bharat.